Hey guys, so this is my first video posting. I think some of you saw my Instagram and possibly my Facebook yesterday about me wanting to do a video blog, basically sharing my story about some things that I have been through. So here's my first one. I've never done one of these before, so I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Guys, the reason I wanted to do this is, pretty recently, my husband and I have been through some things in probably the last year that have been rough, probably to say the least. And I found myself in a pretty deep depression recently, which is a whole nother topic that we'll get to at some point, mental health. But we'll get there soon. But guys, I basically want to start this. I don't know if it's gonna be every day. I don't know if it's gonna be once a week. Kind of playing it by ear, see who's interested and see who's not. My goal behind this, though, is a way that I can share my story, things that I've been through, with my close friends, or people I don't know. I encourage so much for these videos to be shared. I want to get it out. I want to get the word out. I want to spread it. I want to make this big, okay? But the reason I'm sharing this is because all these topics that I want to address have a stigma behind them. And people don't talk about them because of the stigma, because of the fear, because of the judgment that they're afraid that they're going to receive from it. Along with this, I also want to share my spiritual journey with you guys, which again, we'll get to. But I think it's important that, especially, what better time than during a lockdown, during a quarantine, to connect with each other in a way that we maybe wouldn't be able to connect. Life is busy, it's crazy, there's things going on, but I think this is a really good opportunity to stop and to think about each other in maybe a way that we wouldn't have thought about each other before. Tonight, I want to kind of address the beginning of this journey, where I started, where my story begins. I'm 30 years old, for those of you who didn't know. I was born in 1989. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. I have two amazing parents who have also been through a lot of stuff. I have one brother who I love and a sister-in-law who I adore. My brother and I shared, during our middle school years, being bullied. And this is what I want to address tonight. This is the topic I want to talk about, is childhood bullying. I know that we talk about this a lot in society and we're trying to stop it. But I think one thing that people don't realize is the after effect, like the aftermath of being bullied into adulthood. I mean, this is something that honestly stays with you. It doesn't leave, it doesn't cover up, if that makes sense. I was bullied. I was that chunky kid with the big glasses. Some things don't change. But I was and I had a lisp, which was a hello. I mean, I was the perfect target for bully. And my brother was also overweight, by society standards, I guess you could say. And so we were both severely bullied in middle school. It got to the point, it was so bad that my brother would throw up every night before school. Okay, it was bad. We were called some pretty horrible things. Fat, pig. I was called, I hate to say this word, but I will because it's true. I was called a retard because I had a lisp. I hate that word. I don't like it. I don't like it being used in whatever form. Um, it it was hurtful, and it lasts. It stays with you, that sort of thing. That bullying carried on for several years, and then we got the courage up to tell my parents what was going on. It was not long after that they went to the school board, and we were pulled out of public school. I was 4th grade, and my brother, I believe, was in 6th grade, and we were homeschooled from that point on, because my brother and I were terrified to go to school. We just were. It was not a thing we wanted to do. Our grades were plummeting. Our self-esteem was shot. It just wasn't a good experience for us. And those words and those actions and those things that were done to us by bullies, I'm still, to this day, I'm self-conscious of the way I speak. So for me to do this is huge. And not a lot of people know that about me. But I'm very self-conscious, and I really pay attention to how I say certain things. Because I don't want to be made fun of anymore for that. My weight, that's a big issue, which is another topic that we will discuss at some point. My self-esteem still to this day is not at all where it should be. And that doesn't just stem from the bullying, that stems from a lot of other things that have happened throughout my life, which again, we will touch on. It's hard for me when I see things on social media, about kids being bullied, about kids killing themselves because they don't see a way out. There's been, in the last several years, multiple child suicides because of bullying, kids being told that they're worthless and they should just go home and kill themselves. And when we're that age, when we're young, and when we're impressionable, and we already struggle, we take what people say to heart, and we think, wow, maybe this is what I should do. Maybe I am worthless. Maybe I don't deserve to be here. Maybe they're right. And so then they will proceed to do that. I had a childhood friend, someone I knew, went to school with. He hung himself in the attic of his parents' house. He was young, I think. I want to say he was maybe 10. He was a twin. Lived in my neighborhood at the time. Very, very sweet young man. Both him and his brother were just the sweetest. But they were bullied, severely bullied in school. Especially him, more so. And he couldn't take it anymore. And this is not what I want. I have 3 kids. I have 2 bonus children who I adore, that I inherited through marriage. And then I have my 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old son. And it worries me for them. Kids don't talk like they used to. So much more today is revolved around video games and cell phones and TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook. Even as adults, we get sucked up into the video games and the Snapchat and the Facebook and all of that, the Instagram. We live our lives through social media. And especially right now, during the quarantine, this is the only way that we have to communicate with each other. And that feels interesting, I guess I could say. I don't really know how to describe that feeling behind that I'm grateful that we have the social media outlets that we do, so we can keep up to date on current events or on each other and how each other's doing. But it's interesting that's how we kind of live our lives now. But that being said, I think there's a lot of a lot more outlets and a lot more ways for bullying to happen now. When I was growing up, it was face-to-face interaction. I could go home and kind of escape from it. I could wait until the next day until I had to see them again. I could try to get involved in stuff that my family was doing, helping my mom cook dinner or baking cookies or, whatever the case may be, to distract my mind. And now it's so much more than just the school aspect of everything. You go to school and you have to deal with the bullying, and then you get off from school and you get on the bus and you have to deal with the bullying, and then you get off the bus and you have to go home and you get on your Facebook or your Snapchat or whatever it is, TikTok, whatever, who knows, and then there's bullying on there and there's no escape from it. And it's a weight, and it's a heavy weight. That's a heavy burden for a young child to carry. That's not okay. But it's not really talked about. I mean, it's more so talked about now, I think, in this modern society than it ever was. I know when my brother and I were growing up, you just didn't really talk about it. You didn't talk about bullies. You didn't talk about things that were happening at school. The only reason my parents found out was because of how bad it got, especially with my brother getting so sick all the time. And I think that that's really the only reason it was addressed. I can't say for sure that it would have been addressed had it not been for that. Nowadays, as parents, I think it's our job to monitor what's going on our kids' social media. That might be hard, or we may not want to do it because we want to be our kids' buddy. But there comes a point where, and I'm learning this, okay? These are my experiences. I'm not sharing or trying to put any judgment or blame on anyone whatsoever. So I hope that anyone watching this does not take this the wrong way, because these videos are supposed to be only for the sole purpose of sharing experiences so people don't feel alone, okay? That's all these are for. I don't want anyone to feel alone. I want this to be an outlet where people can share. Reach out to me privately if you want to. I'm here, and I want to help, and I want to make people know and feel that things they've been through is okay and they're not alone. That's what all this is. But going back to us as parents and what I'm learning as a parent, I've only really been a mom since I met my husband 4 years ago. Okay. That's not a long time to be a parent. That's not a long time to learn. And I came in, my bonus daughter was 6 and my bonus son was 7. I came in a very interesting, very critical time in their development, I feel like, for what I've learned. And some bullying has happened to my bonus daughter, unfortunately, and that breaks my heart because I know what that's like. I know how that feels. And I also understand, let me back up. I'm sorry. Because I know how that feels and because I've been down that road, I feel like in a sense it's almost a blessing because I can be there for her and I can honestly say the words, I understand what you're going through. I understand how you feel. I'm here for you. Because I do. I get it. I've been there, years ago, and it's different now, but I've still been there. And I think that's a thing that we as parents need to be more open about with our kids, that we've been in positions they've been in. We've been there. We've felt it. And I think sometimes we're too nervous to share that. And I don't know if any of you feel that, but I feel like sometimes that's a thing. We don't want to seem vulnerable to our kids. We are supposed to be the strong, brooding parents that they look up to and they feel confident around and whatever. Like, we're supposed to be that for them, but we can be vulnerable to them. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that we've been there. We've been through it. And I'm learning that as a mom. I'm learning that it's okay for me to share certain experiences that they're going through that I've been through, and to kind of maybe help them direct their anger or their sadness in a different way, to show them that they're not alone, to help them, to guide them. Anyway, sorry, I got off on a tangent. Going back to the social media, and as parents, what I feel like my job is as a mom now is to monitor, okay? Not sit here and change passwords and read journals and any of that. That's not necessary unless you feel it necessary. I know that, if I felt something was off with my daughter, for instance, my bonus daughter, I might dig a little deeper just to make sure that she's okay. Okay? If she's not comfortable sharing. And is that wrong? Maybe. Is that sneaky? It might be. I feel like it depends on your intentions. Honestly, as a parent, I feel like we need to be more involved. And I'm learning that now, how important it is to be involved in your kids' lives, in what they're doing. My parents were involved big time. My mom was a stay-at-home mom up until I was probably about 16. And by that point, my brother and I were in high school and we were working and all these other things. So there really was no reason for her to stay home necessarily. Plus, plus financially, it just wasn't an option anymore for her to stay home. My dad worked consistently about 3 jobs to make most of my growing up, to make sure that she could stay at home with us. So Mom, thank you. But I think that that's why they caught on to what my brother and I were going through so quickly and were able to nip it so fast, was because they were involved. My mom has always been that one person, including my dad too, that I could sit down and talk to and share with and tell them what was going on in my life because they were genuinely interested. When I talk to my kids, I'm genuinely interested in what they have to say, and that's so important, because if they don't feel like you're interested or you're listening or it's genuine, then they're going to cut themselves off. They're not going to talk. They're not going to have any desire to talk because they're going to sit here and think they're not even listening to me, so what's the point? Just like, if I'm talking, say for instance, I'm talking to my husband and he's distracted by something, I might start to feel that way. But then I'm old enough and wise enough, hopefully, to understand that he probably has a lot going on in his mind. And then we'll talk about that. And we get back to the topic that I'm trying to discuss with him and things are fine. But kids aren't quite there yet. So it's really important for us as parents to make sure that they understand that we're here for them and that we are genuinely concerned about their well-being. And that we're genuinely concerned about what they're talking about, what they're telling us. Because bullying doesn't just stop at, I'm out of middle school now, so it's going to calm down. Or I'm out of high school, I'm going on to college, so it's going to stop. Look, bullying doesn't stop when you're a kid, okay? Bullying goes on and on. I've been bullied probably more as an adult than I ever was when I was a kid. I can handle it better now. I have tools to handle that better. But the thing is, even if the bullying itself were to stop after high school or whatever, the after effects don't stop. And that's where my concern is. Not that the bullying isn't a concern, but the effects, the mental effects that it has. Our minds are very powerful. This is something I'm learning through therapy and through my spiritual journey, is our mind is probably the most powerful organ in our body, besides our heart, obviously. It holds on to so much and it can do so many things. And it can tell us a lot of things, good or bad. And our mind can play tricks on us. And it can tell us things that are horrible and evil that aren't even true. But that's why the mind is so powerful. And the thing is, and something that I'm learning, is trying to change my way of thinking and the way that I handle and process things. When I experienced the bullying that I experienced in middle school, elementary to middle school, I have held on to that subconsciously my entire life. I've never felt good enough. I've never felt pretty enough or smart enough or brave enough or important enough. And I very much attribute the beginning of that to the things that I was told by my peers when I was younger. And when you're a kid, what your peers tell you really matters. And you believe it because they're your peer. Why wouldn't you believe it? I was told I was fat majority of my growing up by outside influences. I believed it. So I just got bigger and bigger and bigger because I thought that was my only worth, was to be the fat kid. You know, I was told I had a lisp. It's made me super self-conscious of the way I talk, of my teeth. I mean, there's so many aspects to that I've become self-conscious about. I had big glasses, so I must have been a nerd. So then there's this stigma that being a nerd is a bad thing. Why is being smart bad? It's not. Why is having big glasses bad? It's not. But these are the things that we are told, and these are the ways that it's being told that messes with our mind, okay? It's not okay to be called fat. It's not okay to be called a nerd, okay? It's not okay to have someone basically tell you that you're worthless, no matter who it is. A peer, a loved one, it doesn't matter. These are the things that I've been through as a kid from my peers. And these are the things that kids today are going through, but they don't want to talk about it. Why? Because they're not given an outlet to talk about it. They're not given a voice. Okay? Our kids are not given a voice to feel brave enough to share what they're going through. Why? I don't know. That's just not something that is given to them. They have to be brave and strong, and kids are in such a hurry to grow up these days. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but kids are in such a hurry to grow up, and that they just throw everything else out the window. The playtime, going outside and riding your bike, or playing family games together at the table, having dinner together as a family. Kids would rather eat dinner in their room and play their video games. That's what the society has trained them these days, and it's our job as parents to retrain that. And the biggest thing, I think, is to get them to talk to us, no matter what it is. We have to be on top of it. We have to be on top of what our kids are going through. If it wasn't for my parents, and I cannot stress this enough, if it wasn't for the outlet and the safety net that my parents gave me to go to them and talk to them, I don't know where I would be today or if I would be here today. And I know I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It's the truth, 100%. The cold, hard, raw truth. They made a decision that saved our lives as kids. There's no way that my brother and I could have carried on with what we were going through in school. There's no way. And my parents were prayerful and wise enough to realize that. My parents saved our lives. They did. And I'm grateful for that, because elementary school is hard. It's hard to be the chunky Coke bottle lens wearing, lisp talking kid in school. It's hard. And I have lived with that for so many years. And I've not really told anyone. And I don't know if I would have been able to tell anyone had it not been for recent events that have occurred in my life. Recent things that I've gone through. I've been on this spiritual journey of mine since October, and it's taught me a lot, and it's helped me grow a lot, and still going through a lot. And again, we'll get to that. I want people to know that if you were bullied, in school when you were younger, or if your children are being bullied, or if you know anyone, please be there for them. Listen to them talk. Hear them out. Don't cut them off. Don't diminish what they're feeling. Everyone has a lot in life that they have to carry, a burden that they have to carry, a thing that stays with them for the rest of their lives. Everyone has one. Some people have multiples. Some people have some that they don't even understand how to even come back from. And it's important for us to be there for each other, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. We really need to be there for each other right now. And I just want to encourage you guys to reach out, even if it's to me privately, Facebook or Instagram. Send me a message. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to post anything about it. This is supposed to be a safe place, okay? For us to share our experiences, for women, especially women, to get together and to encourage and uplift. But I want men to watch this too. I want men to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to push away the stigma that society has put on men to be these strong, brave warriors for us. It's okay to let that guard down, to share your experiences, to understand that you're not alone either. Okay? I am encouraging you to talk, to share. I'm encouraging you to share these videos as I post them. To whoever you think it might help. No permission needed. Just share it. Okay? Look, I cannot stress this enough. I'm doing this to hopefully help somebody else who might be going through just one of the things that I've been through. And who knows, it might help me to talk it out, you know? But I hope that you guys will listen to each one of these videos and to really think about what's being said and what's being talked about. I have a lot to be grateful for in my life. I do. I have an amazing husband, beautiful children, a roof over my head and food in my fridge, clothing on my back. We don't have a lot, but we have what we need. And that's important. I have an idea of what I want my next video, what I would like to discuss with everyone on my next video. But if you have any topics, please feel free to comment what you'd like to discuss, what you would like to hear about. I've been reading a lot of statistics about a lot of things lately, and the statistics for suicide due to bullying is a lot higher than it should be. Okay, that's something to look at. I won't get into that. I'll let you guys do your own research on that if you so choose. But it's not where it should be, guys. It's not okay that our children are struggling like that. They're too young to carry such a burden. I don't tolerate bullying. My kids know that. I don't tolerate it. So if I catch any kind of anything that might be related to that, I nip it real quick. That's another thing that starts at home. If you think that your kids might be the bullier, not the bully, but the bullier, let's nip that, guys. Stop that. Teach them that that's not cool. It doesn't look good. It's not funny. Okay? Which I know any one of you guys that I know that's watching this is not going to allow that to happen. I already know that. So I don't even know why I'm saying it, but I am. Anyway, that's I know this video is kind of late and it's a little, it's my first one, and these are going to be raw. Okay, these aren't going to be edited. These aren't going to be professionally done. These are raw. I want only raw, true emotion. I want you guys to really feel what I'm talking about. Anyway, I hope that this video can encourage someone to speak out, or even just to have a little comfort and peace in knowing that you're not alone in any form of bullying that you've been through, whether it be childhood bullying or adult bullying. I know I touched mostly on childhood bullying tonight, but I know that there's been a lot of adults, including myself, that have been victim of bullying in our adult years. And I don't even think that a lot of times when it happens, the adults that are doing it realize that it's happening. Anyway, I just wanted to share this. Watch, don't watch. It's okay. I just, again, my goal for this is to give some hope and some peace that, hey, you maybe have been through it, but you're gonna be okay. That's the biggest thing I want out of these. You're gonna be okay, and you're not alone. And you have a safe place to talk if need be. I will post again, whether it be tomorrow or the next day or next week. I will post again, and it'll be a different topic that next time. Again, if you have any topics that you guys would like to discuss or go over, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just pick them randomly. I'll just share random experiences with you guys, things I've been through. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hit me up, Shay_Miki on Instagram, or Shalane Mamageddon Miki on Facebook. You can private message me if you want. You don't have to, but you can. Tag and share, guys. I'm okay with that. Just, I just want anybody out there who's struggling to know that you've got a safe place. We're here, and we need to support each other, especially right now. All right, guys. I enjoyed talking to you all. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you again soon.